Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Granville D'Souza, and I am the CEO of EQ World. So today I'm going to do a presentation on the Enneagram, and the Enneagram is a system of understanding personalities, your preferences, your thinking, your energy, when we say personality, it could be your preferences, things that you avoid, things that you have a natural inkling towards, something which could be a God-given gift, whatever they call it. Besides that, the Enneagram also shows you quite a few other different things, how you may be living your life right now, how it might be going into a kind of unhealthy zone, or it could be a really very healthy zone, whichever one. It's going to actually tell you quite a lot of things. And it will also show you how you may be functioning within a team, what could be your greatest gifts, and what could be your different limitations you have when you move into a team or when you function within a team itself. So I hope this helps you. It would be definitely more than 1 hour. So I hope this presentation will help you to be a lot clearer about what you may want to do as you move on in terms of being a much better version of yourself. Enjoy the presentation. So this is the presentation called Enneagram Principles and Applications, a kind of summary of the Enneagram and some of its applications. I love this quotation called, "My eyes are open, but I can't see the light." So what does that really mean? Everyone wakes up in the morning, eyes wide open, and we believe we can see everything we can see. But a lot of us are not able to see the things we need to see. We can choose to see certain things, but sometimes we can't see the things that we need to see about our lives. Hence, the Enneagram helps us to see the things that we actually need to see. But sometimes, when you think of blind spots, it's about unconscious incompetence, right? Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. So the Enneagram kind of gets you to see things that you may not have known before, but you know now. And, at a certain point initially, you may not know what to do with it. So hopefully this presentation gets you to see what you need to do about your life, and then brings you into conscious incompetence, and then hopefully conscious competence, and then it becomes unconscious competence. All right, so I think you've heard these phrases before, and let's see how we can do that with this whole system of understanding the self. So this is the Enneagram, a little bit of history. I don't like to go too deep into history, but a kind of definition first. It's from two Greek words, Ennea called 9, and gram means something that's drawn or written. So this is a diagram, which is a kind of representation about how we live our lives and what our personality is like and what we can do with being a much better version of ourselves. It's got a lot of history, starting 2,000 to 4,000 years ago. And although this is not so crucial for you to know, I thought I'll just cover a little bit. It started off in Asia as well as Middle East, and it made its way through Sufism. And this person called Gurdjieff, who's a poet and philosopher, he kind of brought it through Europe. And in the Middle East, it started from the Middle East as well, through the Kabbalah, through Christian mysticism, basically a lot through spirituality and religion. And then it reached through South America, through Oscar Icazo, who was a psychologist, and then finally to more contemporary times called Claudio Naranjo, who's Chilean, and he passed away, I think, about 3 years ago. So then from the 1970s, from the US, it kind of spread through many different means, and is now being taught in all kinds of different domains: business, arts, parenting, healthcare, spirituality, psychotherapy, religion, very extensively used in parts of Asia, definitely big time in America. And it's one of the greatest tools on the understanding of the personality system. There are about 3,000 books written on the Enneagram. So there's really a lot. If you go onto Amazon and you go on Google, Enneagram is one of those tools which has been most widely written about. Okay, so it can be very deep. Just in front of my face, in fact, I'm not sure if you can see it, but look at this book. Can you see it? Right. So this is just one of the books I read about it. That's called Enneagram. I know the kind of, well, sorry, you can't quite see the title, but doesn't help me showing it like that. No thanks to the background. Okay, so the Enneagram, kind of repeated that just now. Enneagram, a circle inscribed 9 points, and it's a 9-sided figure. So in this 9-sided figure, you've got 9 different representations of different personalities. You've got these 9 different personalities starting with the type 1. You get all these different kinds of terms, but it may not get you to understand exactly what it means straight away. So I'm just going to kind of do a very quick description of each of the types. So sometimes they are called like the type ones. There are 9 different personalities, and the type ones are called the perfectionist, reformer, crusader, moralist. Now, for this type, they are basically called perfectionists because they look into details, they look into structure, they look into system, they look into getting things right. So how do I get things right? Now, there's a healthy version and there's a not so healthy version. The healthy version, number one, is the kind of person who can let things go. They are okay with dealing with gray areas. They're more flexible. They're open. Whereas the unhealthy one is the one that cannot let go. They want things perfect. They hate mistakes. They're quite inflexible. They're quite pedantic, or they kind of are very critical over small different things. So imagine someone being an engineer, right? Engineers need to get things right. But if you get someone who's a perfectionist, they get angry quite often. They get irritated quite often, which is the emotion that this type actually faces quite a lot. The giver, think of the giver as like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is a big giver. And these are people who live to provide. They live to make a difference. They are very self-sacrificing. They are usually very nice. They are gentle. They are, yes, just very, very nice people who give a lot, who help a lot, who want to make you feel happy. It's seldom about their interests. It's always about somebody else. So imagine someone in your team who's always providing, always giving, always lending a hand. Yeah, you might wonder, are there such people in this world? Yes, the type 2s. But I'll explain more. It's not just totally that personality. Remember, we are a mixture of everything. In fact, I did not quite say that yet. But we are a mixture of all 9 different personalities. Of course, some are very high, some are very low. Some of us could have 2 or 3 very highs and the rest are low. So it depends on your combination in terms of how you assessed yourself in the profile. Now, the type 3, I usually call them the ambitious person because this person kind of lives to work. They are highly task-oriented. They want to get things done. They are, like I did say just now, highly ambitious. They want to set goals, manifest goals, be someone within 5 years, be someone within 10 years. They can be quite task-oriented. They can sometimes make some shortcuts at work in order for them to achieve as much as possible. So these are what we call achievers, right? Achievers, performers, motivators. They can be very high achievers in workplaces. Usually the top sportsmen, the highest achievers, like in a sales force, they are the cream of the crop in terms of performance because of their energy to succeed and the level of ambitiousness. Now, the individualist is quite different. The individualists can be quite elitist, but they've got a great eye for beauty, great eye for aesthetics. Hence, their gifts are in creativity, innovation, doing things very uniquely. They stand out as being quite different from the rest. In fact, they want to be different from the rest. They don't like being ordinary. They're pretty extraordinary in the way they look at things. Hence, even their taste is quite different. They are not usually into big brands, but they want to wear things which are very different from other people. So hence, they're artists because they can look at things and beautify things, improve things. Many of them are in the arts field. Okay, that does not mean that bankers can't be type 4s. People in your teams cannot be. Anyone can belong to any team, but it just depends on their focus of attention and what they are good at quite naturally. Okay, now, the investigator, which is type 5, these people like, I wouldn't say details, but they like depth. There's a difference between the 1 and the 5, and yet they're quite different. They're quite similar. The 5 likes their space. They're the most introverted of the lot, but their gift is in liking as much knowledge as possible. Knowledge, details. They can be very good observers. They can see things and love analysis, going deep into explaining things, being very comfortable with lots of information and being an expert in their field. So these can be considered the smartest of the 9. Like Albert Einstein is a type 5. And so very, I would say, insightful, highly insightful. They can be quite unassuming. I hope I'm not using too many big terms here, but unassuming, meaning you'll never quite expect what's going on their minds, but they can be very deep if you ask them for perspectives, right? So that's the 5 one, the type 5. The type 6, we call them the loyalists, questioner. They do ask a lot of questions, very insightful as well. There's a kind of feeling that the 6 always wonders whether everything has not been settled or looked into. Hence, they can be very inquiring. They ask a lot of questions. They can be quite skeptical sometimes. This is the most pessimistic of the 9 types. But there's a place for pessimism. There's a place for optimism. There's a place for pessimism. And people who are pessimistic tend to dig deeper, ask a lot of questions, be quite curious, think about things which have not been completed, wonder what has not been done yet, So hence, they also tend to worry quite a bit, right? So there's a bit of good and there's a bit of not so good with all the different types. I just mentioned a balance of that. Hence, we call them the loyalists too. That means they're the best gatekeepers. They can stick on to something for the longest time, like even in marriage. I think even when a marriage is in trouble, they can be there and hold on to things for a long time and basically be pretty loyal. So trust is a big issue for the sixes. They're either very trusting or not trusting, but they're very trustworthy. Okay, so there's a difference between, say, trusting and trustworthiness. Now, type 7 is quite opposite from the type 6. So the 7s are the most optimistic of the lot. They're generalists. They love doing many things at the same time. They get bored fast because they want to do different things that excite them. So excitement, joy, high energy, mixing with people, getting out there, doing things, spontaneity. All this is the gift of the 7. Many entrepreneurs are 7s. Many entrepreneurs are 3s. But the 7 entrepreneur is a very visionary person. This person looks into life with a different set of glasses where they can see possibility, right? So these are possibility thinkers. The 8s are what we call the boss. So think about the strongest leaders in countries, in organizations where they mean business. They're no-nonsense people. They're quite tough. Anger drives them, so don't mess with them. I must admit, they've got this ability to see things and move things. They're not necessarily like the type 1 who's wanting things to be done in a certain way. They're not necessarily like the type 5 who's likes analysis and deep details, but they're the ones that move things, right? Top leaders, big leaders, and they don't have to be leaders, but they've got very strong temperament, very strong personality. And I think they can sometimes instill fear. They're not uncomfortable with conflict. So very strong personality. Now, the type 9 is quite the opposite of the type 8. The type 8 is very comfortable with their anger and they can move things by pressing people's buttons, whereas the 9s seek peace. Peacemaker, mediator, they're generally very friendly, easygoing, calm, cordial, diplomatic, very democratic in their style. And so these are what we call friendly people, easygoing. When you have a conversation with a 9, you hardly feel threatened because they're generally very nice people. You feel pretty calm, relaxed. Not so good side of the 9, they can sometimes delay decisions, procrastinate, not take action, be quite relaxed sometimes. So that could be an issue with some 9s. Okay, so that was a summary of the 9 types. And hopefully you got a good picture of what that looks like. I'll not spend too much time on this one, but this is how the diagram is written. 1, 4, 2. See, the 1 connects to the 4 connects to the 2 connects to the 8 connects to the 5 connects to the 7, and the 7 connects to the 1. Why am I sharing this? That's because each number points to 2 other numbers. And I think it's quite important for you to understand what happens when these 2 points, or at least these 2 areas, are pointed towards. So, for example, if you notice carefully for the type 1, it's a toward direction for the arrow. So the 1 goes to the 4. You notice this toward arrow. So that means when the 1 is stressed, they start to demonstrate type 4 characteristics. Now, at this point, you may not know the full range of those characteristics, but I think soon you'll know. So when the 1 is stressed, just for now, just keep that in mind. When the 1 is stressed, they go to 4. When the 1 is relaxed and calm, they will go to 7. So you can sometimes see the good side when they are relaxed, and you can see the not so good side when they are not relaxed. So again, when a 1 is stressed, they go to 4. When a 1 is relaxed, they go to 7. Likewise, when a 2 is stressed, they go to 8. When a 2 is relaxed, they go to 4. When a 3 is stressed, they go to 9. So you may not see the arrows here, but the 9, when the 9 is stressed, they go to 6. When the 6 is stressed, they go to 3. And when the 3 is stressed, they go to 9. And the reverse is true. When the 9 is relaxed, they go to 3. When the 3 is relaxed, they go to 6. When the 6 is relaxed, they go to 9. So it's easy for the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, because the arrows are here. Somehow I should have put some arrows there. But I hope you just remember each number has what we call a stress line and a relaxed line. Okay? And then you will get to know this a little clearer afterwards when you realize that how each number kind of functions when they're stressed and when they're relaxed.